Okay. So today we're going to start our first Portfolio Lead Office Hour. I am Tracy Riddle. I'm the Director of Educator Effectiveness. You will be receiving much information from me, as well as from our colleague, Micah Fager, who's also on this call. And we're happy to have Amy Floyd as well from our team on the call. You will, like I said, you will receive information from us as well as portfolio doc questions throughout this school year. If you are new to the portfolio lead role, welcome. If you have been in this role for several years, welcome back. We're glad to kick off this year, and I am very excited to share with you some new pieces that we've put in place. And again, that was because of the feedback we received from you. Thank you all who did complete the survey at the end of the school year. That has helped drive a lot of the new work and the new resources that we're going to have available for you this year. All we do is grounded in our priorities. This is particularly grounded in the educator section. Today, I'm going to talk to you about your role as a portfolio lead and the responsibilities you have. I want to share with you those exciting new resources as well as the resources you're already familiar with. We'll talk about next steps, and every monthly meeting we'll have a next step. The meeting will always coincide with the things that are happening, the timeline for what is going on in the portfolio world. So I will leave you today with next steps before our September meeting, as well as share with you the supports you have. So let's jump right in. As the portfolio lead, your main, I would say, most critical responsibility is to maintain accurate records. You will be rostering your teachers that are implementing a portfolio. You'll be communicating with us throughout the school year to add or remove teachers as needed up until the deadlines that we'll share with you. We will take you through this process step by step in our September office hours, but this is a critical responsibility. It's very important to know which portfolio models your district has chosen to implement so you can accurately roster the correct teachers. We also, it's very critical, and I really want to stress this, that as a portfolio lead, please distribute this information out to your teachers. Teachers reach out to us a lot and say they haven't heard of this resource, or they didn't know. We heard a lot of, I didn't know that rubrics changed last year. So I always will copy you when we get those questions and portfolio questions, so you know what your teachers are asking. But just feel comfortable that you can share anything we share with you. You can share that with teachers. Towards the end of the implementation, and I would say start around March or April, again, we'll talk about it in an office hour, but monitor that submission status. You want to ensure that your teachers are submitting, that they are completing the portfolio, and that there are no surprises in June. And then as questions arise, or if there's needs that you have that we're not meeting, please communicate to me, Micah, Amy, or portfolio.questions. So let's talk about the resources. I am so excited about the team website. Thank you to Micah Fager. She has updated this for our team, and I think it looks great. Team-tn.org is the website, and you will see we have some new tabs this year. So if you go to the Home tab, when you log in, you should go straight to the Home tab. But when you go to the Home tab, you will see under Recently Released, any brand new document that we have published will go here first. I'll show you the other places. They'll also be in their tabs, but we will put it here first, the recently released. So you will see here that we have recently released a portfolio assessment scoring guidance for teachers. And we have some videos where Micah and I have made videos to talk teachers through the portfolio. So this is a teacher resource, and I'm so excited about it. And the next resource we have is the pre-K kindergarten portfolio guidebook. We get the question quite often, has the rubrics changed this year? The rubric standards have not changed for pre-K through second grade, fine arts, PE, all of the models, world language, the standards are the same, but we are continuing to make improvements to the guidance portions for suggested tasks, for required evidence collection sections. So make sure your teachers have the guidebooks. They're all updated. And you would see, I'll show you on the page, but you'll see it says July 2023. So let's go to the first tab. The first tab I want to show you today is the Student Growth Portfolio tab. You may remember it was located in a drop-down last year. This year we have our own tab that says Student Growth Portfolios. So when you click on that tab, you will first see your resource descriptions and you'll see the models. The links to the different models take you to their page. You see at the bottom, it says resources. So these are the resources for you. The portfolio guidebook for admin and teachers, we just updated it, and I am pretty sure the only update is due date. Last year, the due date was May 1st. This year, the due date is May 6th. We pushed it back a little bit because we know that when the due date falls on a weekend or at the end of the week, it may cause people to work on the weekends, and we don't want to do that. So we did move it back a little bit. So that is the most the update that I can think of. I think that's the only one we have in the guidebook. You have a link to your office hour page. The portfolio rostering guidance for this year has already been updated. We will talk about this guidance document and I will take you through it step by step at our September office hour. But if you've been a portfolio lead for years and you want to go ahead and start looking at that information, it's all available to you. These little arrows I forgot to click on, excuse me. We have the portfolio lead best practices, and this is a document where district implementers across the state put together some advice for you, and we have put that here on the team website for you. If someone wants to grieve their portfolio score, we have the information here for you to look at, and you can always email us if you have questions about that. And then finally, we have a teacher FAQ, and we just updated this summer as well with questions that we have received from our teachers and peer reviewers all across Tennessee this year in portfolio questions. So we just compiled those and put them in an FAQ. So that's a great resource for your teachers. The next tab I want to take you to is right when you hover over the Student Growth Portfolio tab, you will see your models, but most importantly, this is the one I'm most excited about, is the Portfolio Teacher Guidance tab. If you click on that, it's going to take you to our brand new page. We get questions all the time from you all, as well as teachers that ask us for more clarity on what's acceptable in their portfolio. Can we give this assessment? Is this okay? So we just put together this year a teacher page where teachers can find their, teachers can find their model. Once they find their model, they'll see their resource guide, which is their rubric. But then you'll see here coming soon, and I hope it's coming very, very soon. It's in review right now, but this is a document that is just talking about the standards, talking about what the assessment should look like, what the expectations are. It goes right along with these videos. The ones that don't have video coming soon are active right now. If you clicked on one of these links, it will take you to a YouTube video where teachers can listen to either myself or Micah talk through the rubric, talk through the assessments, talk through the expectations. And I'm really excited to offer these to you. We hope every day the video coming soon will be removed and we'll have our new videos up. We are getting that done as fast as we can. At the bottom, you'll see our PE, World Language and Fine Arts models. We have their scoring guides as well as a webinar recording talking through their models. So this is a resource. Please share with your teachers. especially as they are trying to, at this time of year, to decide which ELA standards they're going to pick, which math standards they're going to pick. They may want to watch the videos first before they begin their point A's. The next resource you'll see this year, we have office hours, its own tab. We have, if you're an evaluation configurator as well, you have your office hours that Amy leads in the mornings, as well as the portfolio lead office hour is the first tab. So when you click on that office hour, it will take you to our office hour page. So if you miss a meeting, this is where you can go to see this PowerPoint as well as to watch this recording. And you'll see today we are talking about your roles and responsibilities and all of your resources. In September, we'll talk about the platform. So currently, and I'll go ahead and say this in case anybody starts asking you, or if you are looking in the platform, no one has access to 23-24 yet. You will have access if you have been given the portfolio lead role by your director of schools when they signed off on their evaluation flexibility form, when they made their choices of what portfolios they were going to do, or if they were doing AGMs. We also have an LEA contact setting in TN Compass where the your superintendent designees, your evaluation configurators, your director of schools, that's where they're putting in those portfolio lead emails and who your contacts are. So that will be the people that we roster in the platform. So I am still working on that. We still don't have the portfolio lead contact for every implementing district. So we're going to wait until that meeting to have you all rostered in there once we know exactly who our portfolio leads are. But you will have access to the platform by that September 7th meeting. And then we will talk about rostering and what you'll do to get your teachers in the platform. Teachers do not get access to the platform until their roster is submitted, and you submit it to portfolio questions, and then portfolio questions uploads them to the platform. And we will talk about that more in September. So what are your next steps? First, work with your district to make sure you know which portfolio models you are implementing this year. I would also add to that, make sure you are the portfolio lead. Or if you're not, make sure you have been designated the portfolio lead for your district. Share all of these resources with your teachers and then begin to support them in thinking about their collections, thinking about what standards they're going to choose. Even without access to the platform yet, they can begin to get in that guidebook and begin picking their collections and begin picking their standards and start collecting those point A artifacts. Student work is not uploaded into the platform until after the point B. So right now it's just most critical that they understand the guidebooks, the portfolio expectations, and what standards they want to choose, and then getting started on those point A's as soon as possible. Here are the links to every office hour. So each month you can just click on here to join the meeting. I will also continue to email the portfolio leads an invitation, a reminder every week before the office hour to let you just have a reminder of these meetings. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us at portfolio.questions@tn.gov. And Micah, I am going to keep the recording going and toss it over to you for any questions that we need to discuss or answer.
We don't have any so far in the chat.
Okay. If you would like to come off mute and ask your question out loud, that is fine with me. Or if you want to type your question in the chat and Micah can read it out to me.
Yes, Tiffany, the slide deck and a video recording of today's meeting will be uploaded to the teamtn.org website under office hours.
Everybody feels good? Ready to kick off the school year? Okay. What date changed?
Sorry, you can see it now.
No, I just saw it popped up. I saw Christy. Christy, the only date that's changed is the due date. Typically the due date has been May 1st, so I wanted to make sure you all see that. It's in the guidebook. It says May 6th. We moved the due date to May 6th.
We also changed the time too. We may want to tell them.
Oh, yes, the time is going to be 5 p.m. this year. 11:59 does not work well for anyone. So 5 p.m. It was very hard for people to try to get a hold of us at 11:58, those teachers that were still trying to submit portfolios at the last few minutes. So 5 p.m.
We do have a question. Do districts still have option for alternative assessment?
Absolutely. On that team website, there was their student growth portfolios as well as the AGM. It's called Alternative Growth Measures. And I'll talk about that just for a quick second. Your districts, your superintendent designee, evaluation configurators, they filled out those, they make those selections in T Encompass this year. It's called the Evaluation and Flexibility Options Form. If your district receives VPK funding, you are required to implement a portfolio or what we call an AGM, alternative growth measure. The only alternative growth measure that is approved in Tennessee is your district's universal reading screener. So if you want your pre-K through second grade teachers to use your district's universal reading screener that you are given as part of the Literacy Success Act, your district could have chosen that in place of portfolio to be their growth score. If you do not receive VPK money, you are required to pick at least one of the 7 non-tested teacher groups to implement either a portfolio or the AGM. And again, the AGM is only available for pre-K through 2. So if you are a most likely a charter that doesn't have pre-K through 2, then you would have to implement fine arts, PE, or world language. But if you are a district and you do have those elementary grades, but you don't want to do an AGM, you could implement a portfolio in any model if you do not receive VPK funding. Again, if you receive VPK funding, you are required to do either the portfolio or the alternative growth measure. Now, these selections have already been made by your director of schools and already been signed off on. So most likely that's why you got your invitation today, because you were designated as the portfolio lead. But if your director of schools has questions or would like to discuss changing those options, we may have a small window before portfolio roster starts and before universal reading screeners get started on their window. But yes, I probably answered that more than you asked, but I want to make sure that is very, very clear. Any other questions?
Does the entire district have to decide on a portfolio, or can some teachers do portfolios and some teachers use universal screening window?
Great question. It is an entire district decision. So when your director of schools, for example, if they pick kindergarten portfolio, it's every kindergarten teacher in that district. If they pick fine arts portfolio, it's every fine arts teacher in that district. If they pick world language, it is only Spanish and French. If they pick PE, it is only K-8. If they pick pre-K, all the other pre-K, K1 or 2, it's every teacher in that district, whether that's portfolio or universal reading screener. Now, I will say as a small caveat, if your district chooses the AGM, the universal reading screener, and you departmentalize your pre-K 2, this is only a reading screener, so your math teachers are left out. They do not get a score, period, if you departmentalize in your district and you choose AGM. Does that answer your question? The person that asked?
Is Maria.
Yes. Great. Well, if there are no other questions, I will not hold you all afternoon. Thank you for coming. If you need to stay on and ask any more questions, we'll wait just a few minutes and then I'll stop the recording. Again, thank you all. There's a question popping up, Micah.
Is it acceptable for all pre-K classes to utilize the portfolio model and K1 to use the Ames Web?
Will you read that one more time?
Is it acceptable for pre-K to use the portfolio and K1 use Ames Web, the AGM?
Yes, let me clarify for that question. When a district picks a model, they pick a model per grade. So you would pick a model for pre-K, a model for kindergarten, a model for first, a model for second, fine arts, PE, world language. As I said, pre-K through 2, there's 2 models that could be chosen. You could either choose portfolio or you could choose AGM. But you can choose a different model for each pre-K, K1 and 2. If you receive VPK money, you have to pick a model, either the portfolio or the AGM for pre-K, and then for kindergarten. Pre-K and kindergarten don't have to do the exact same thing. For example, you could do portfolio in pre-K, kindergarten, do portfolio, do nothing in first grade, and then there's some districts who choose to do an AGM in second grade. You could pick fine arts and pre-K and K. You have the flexibility to choose any model of those 7. It's just pre-K and kindergarten models have to be chosen for VPK districts, but they don't have to be the exact same model. If you are not sure what models and what whether your district chose pre-K, K1 or 2 or fine arts, if you don't know what model, again, going back to our next steps, get with your superintendent and find out what they selected in T Encompass to make sure you know what teachers to support this year.
I have a question. Is Easy CBM also still an acceptable universal screener? Are you asking if it's a universal screener or if it's an acceptable AGM, Suzanne?
Either way, Mike, I can answer. Easy CBM is not the universal reading screener. So no, you cannot use it. The only AGM that can be used in place of a student growth portfolio is your district. It's the universal reading screener that your district gives to your K2 students. It's your universal reading screener. Easy CBM is not is it? It's not an approved. It is, Amy? Oh, I am so sorry. Go to the
It's on the
AGM
team
tab for that.
website. It's listed on the team website under the alternative growth
Okay,
model tab.
so I'm sorry, Suzanne.
That's okay.
glad this is
You were giving me a
recorded.
small heart attack.
No. If you give Easy CBM, if that is your screener that you
Yes.
work with the Tennessee Universal Reading Screener team, yes, I'm sorry, I did not recall that was on the list of approved.
It's not approved for pre-K. It's
Right.
approved for older,
K.
but
Kindergarten
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, that's perfect.
K1
Thank
and
you.
2. So sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
didn't
I'm
wanna
breathing
record this
again.
part.
You're fine.
I'll be transparent. That's why I'm always nervous to record these parts, but I'm doing it for you guys. You asked for it. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, I am going to stop recording and let you have the rest of your afternoon back. Thank you for coming today.